Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 36. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Bandwidth for this episode is brought to you by Action Target. Today I have with me familiar guest and co-host of the Guns of Hollywood podcast, Sam Asner. Thanks again for joining me, man.
Hey there, Ryan. Always a pleasure.
So what have you been up to?
Well, I actually, just before hopping on here, frantically was wrapping up my New Jersey special treatment forend or handguard swap. I got a Troy Alpha Rail. Just got in from Brownells today, and so I kind of touch on it here and then, like on the Guns of Hollywood and on here. I live in New Jersey, and one of the pesky things is even if it's not 14.5 with a 1.5 muzzle brake, even if it's a true 16-inch barrel, any muzzle device has to be pin and welded. So for me, it's not just a simple fact of sliding out off the A2 front sight and sliding on a low-profile gas block and doing it the right way. So to save myself the headaches and potential damaging of the barrel by grinding off the old pins and all that stuff, I was like, hey, I'm just going to chop off this front sight post and grind her down and repaint that and the gas tube with some engine paint. Because it's going to be hidden under the handguard anyway. Just wanted it to not be scratchy and silvery. Mm-hmm. And threw on the Alpha Rail, and I love it because I am a big dude, and normal carbine length handguards are a little cramped for me. So now I could be like one of the cool guys and really throw that arm out there.
Right on. Yeah, I'm actually probably right after this podcast going to go into my gun room. I just got a Timney trigger in the mail, so I'll be taking some pictures of the installation, although it's really not all that hard, just popping out a couple pins, putting them back in. So this is the 510 for Remington 700s, and if you have a Remington 700 that's made after 2006, it's probably been recalled with the EXP trigger or XMP trigger. So instead of sending it back to the factory, I chose to just get a Timney, just go straight for the best, or one of the best. So I'll be reviewing that. Another thing, which I'm really excited for, is I just got my Form 4 in the mail, my tax stamp, and 30 cal can. So I'll be shooting some 308 suppressed, and from on now I'll be plagued with the temptation to start a 300 blackout build, so that's already
and or a stamp collection.
I've already got a small stamp collection.
Okay.
But it's pretty cool. For those of you that are got theirs on, they're still waiting for their tax stamps to come in, and you're like, oh man, how long is it gonna be? Mine took 10 months. I submitted my paperwork on September. The only thing is, the Class 3 dealer that I went through, they're actually closing up shop and working some things out with the ATF. So actually, he had probably 30 or 40 different people waiting for suppressors, and the ATF actually helped to push those through. I know, surprising, efficiency from an alphabet department. So I got it, and it could have been longer, but circumstances worked out, so I'm excited to do some shooting and maybe do a review. I think one of the first suppressor reviews on the Firearms Insider.
You're a trailblazer, Ryan.
That's right. I'm too stupid to budget my money. That's what's wrong. I've got all this money burning a hole in my wallet at one time in my life, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I got my suppressor, but I need new brakes, new tires, new windshield, blah, blah, blah. So might be selling some of those 22 bricks I've been hoarding all these years.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get right into the announcements. We're always looking for guest panelists. So if you're a listener and you want to review some of your piece of gear, whether you liked it or you hated it, and you want to come on the show and tell others about it so they might buy it for themselves or maybe avoid purchasing it, we really would like that audience participation. So you can email me at cross@firearmsradio.tv, and we'll help get that set up with you. I record on Tuesdays, and the podcast release on Friday. Yeah, if that's something that interests you, feel free to send me an email. The next announcement is actually I'm going to be doing another giveaway. And so this one is, I've only got one product to give away, so it should be a pretty quick one. And it's the Intelliscope phone mount. If you don't know, I can't remember which episode. I need to look back and look, but we covered in the Tech Gadget or App segment this Intelliscope phone mount. So basically it's an app you download on your smartphone, so Android or Apple iPhone, and then you've got this $90 mount that mounts your phone onto your Picatinny or Weaver rails on your gun, and then turns your smartphone into a digital scope. So I'm not giving away a phone. Nice try, but I'm giving away the $90 mount, and then some extra phone covers that these go onto your phone, and then they interface with the mount themselves. So there's definitely one for the iPhone, and I'm really not sure what these others are for. That might be like a Samsung Galaxy or maybe a Droid. I don't know. That's probably important information. I'll try and find out what exactly other phones I have these covers for, and I'll let you guys know. But for the majority of Apple iPhone users out there, I do definitely have one for that. So how to win? All you need to do is leave this podcast an iTunes review, just like the last giveaway. If you've already reviewed this podcast in the past, you must submit a brand new review. Not going to be counting pre-existing reviews or a review that you've updated, because it's hard for me to tell if you've updated it or not. So then after you do that, you need to email me at cross@firearmsradio.tv with your iTunes nickname and your shipping address. That way I can see, yeah, you did leave a review, and here's your shipping address. I can compile all the winners, and to which the deadline for those will be July 15th, so just this next month. And then winners will be announced July 18th. So, whether I get one submission or 20 submissions, I'll be doing a drawing, so hopefully there's more than just one. But yeah, so July 15th is the date on that. So let's get right into the new product spotlights, and I purposely picked out products this week. Well, that was fun to say. That were a little bit more exciting, a little bit more on the horizon. There's not a whole lot of information about these products, but they're definitely, the companies are pumping them up on social media outlets to get interest going. So in the first one is the G2 Research 300 Ripout, which if you're on Facebook, you definitely probably saw the G2. What do they call those? The pistol rounds.
Oh, was it RIPP?
Yeah, the RIP rounds. So
Okay.
it's similar premise, but these are specifically chambered in 300 blackout.
Listen, I don't know if it's just that Rated RR has absurdly good production value on his videos. Video on Rated RR on YouTube, and if I remember correctly, back when we first looked at the pistol caliber offerings, I wasn't too thrilled. There was definitely some hate coming out on that product, but these are nasty. I was watching it with a little grin going, ooh. I don't know how Rated RR gets that ballistics gel so crystal clear, but seeing this stuff tear through that and just splinter the way it does, and
I believe it's made from the tears of liberals. That's what makes it so clear.
oh, you know what? That's it. the pure souls of the liberal tears.
Yeah. So there's actually three flavors to the Rip Out. There's supersonic, subsonic, and the Trident. So the
Which he
subsonic,
didn't really talk about in his video.
no,
The
they probably
Trident.
didn't send him any.
I think he said he
Uh,
had it, but he's going to cover it later or something like that. But
no.
the stuff that you did see, like, you could see a huge difference between the subsonic and the supersonic. But both of them just had, like, absurd expansion.
So if you've been living under a rock for the last couple of months and you have no idea what all these expanding bullets are, basically they CNC a projectile so that it's got kind of like petals that are cut out, but it's still retaining the bullet shape. So then when it enters enters tissue or ballistics media, it just rapidly expands, and those petals detach from the bullet, and it just dumps a whole bunch of energy into the target, and then the core of the bullet just usually keeps going, keeps penetrating, but all that initial momentum and inertia is released into the target as these petals just kind of jut out in like a 6-inch diameter. So imagine shooting somebody that was, a self-defense shooting, and shooting them, in the body, and having petals, spread out in a 6-inch diameter. Definitely delivering much more pain, much more ouchies.
And I'm not an expert at the physics of ouchies created by bullets, but if I remember correctly, a lot of the damage is also caused by the shock of the collapsing of the wound channel. If am I not
I don't
remembering
know
that correctly?
if that's called hydrostatic shock, but I know what you're talking
Is that
about.
yeah, it's that shock of when, so you have an expanding wound channel, and then you could see it like brilliantly in his crystal clear ballistics gel, but that thing just smacks shut, and that reverberates the entire media, and so that's not only do you have the tearing, of course, and the lacerations caused by the projectiles, but that shock, transmits through all your soft tissues, and just, I don't know, it was violent. It was dirty.
Yeah, I mean, watching this footage, there's just, I mean, so many people that all of a sudden overnight become internet ballisticians, as far as, just getting really into, well, technically the core is over penetrating, and so, but, all this different kind of arguing back and forth, but to see the results in ballistic media is pretty awesome. So the subsonic, those are going between 1,040 and 1,080 feet per second, so just right under the sound barrier. So then the diameter spread and the depth for the petals is about 6 inches. The supersonic is going 2,100 feet per second and 2,300 feet per second, right in that 200 feet per second range, just above 2,000. And it's also got a 6-inch diameter spread and depth. The Trident is actually a solid copper round that's just got 3 very prominent cuts relieved into it. So it expands 3/4 of an inch and retains all of its weight. So yeah, it's actually kind of similar to the Lehigh defense rounds, where those were relieved almost all the way down to the base of the bullet, and they actually opened up as wide as like pinwheels, where they're just like
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Propeller.
yeah, it looks like a propeller. So
Yeah.
really nasty. So G2 doesn't really have anything all about the Rip Out on their website posted just yet. They've just kind of gone this viral route and sent out test samples to these YouTubers. So Richard Ryan with Rated R and Andrew, I forget his last name, with GY6 vids. They both have videos. So those links will be in the show notes as well to check those out. It's awesome, and like Sam said, nasty. So if you're running 300 blackout and you're looking for a self-defense round, and you've got a lawyer on retainer, this might be the bullet for you.
Mm.
So the next product, actually, so you get to the G2 research website just so you can stay on top of that. Guys, that website. So it's www. Come on, Google faster. G2rip.com. And the 2 is the number 2. So on to the next product, and I'm actually going to let Samuel introduce this one.
Do you have enough guns to start a small war? Do you think they're just a bit too loud? I'm going to need to do that again.
Sure, go ahead.
Do you have enough guns to supply a small army? Do you think they're way too loud? Well, you can silence all of them for just $20,000 with the Silencer Co. Conquest Silencer Pack.
I like it.
This is awesome, but just produces a fountain of jealousy, both monetarily and Second Amendment right-wise, from me being here in New Jersey. So the nuts and bolts of this is basically Silencer Co. is offering at a cost savings to the buyer all 14 of their silencers that they produce and 47 accessories, basically the adapters and all the fittings that you need to get it on said gun, and some odds and ends, for $20,000.
And not only that, but Silencer Co. is actually going to pay your tax fees on your behalf. So all your money goes straight to awesome, and their money goes straight to not awesome. So all those pesky $200 tax stamps that need to get stuck on your Form 4, they're going to pay for all those. But it's still $20K. This is a great way to liquidate some products in your warehouse. And it not only that, but it comes in this really awesome
dirty wheeled case.
Yeah.
This thing's completely badass.
A wheeled carrying case that's got foam inserts for all 14 silencers, and looks like little plastic sectioned out for all the components.
Tackle box inserts.
Yeah, tackle boxes, slots for the tackle boxes to go into. And of the parts that are there, it looks like there's quite a few flash hiders and muzzle brakes that can interface with the suppressors, pistons for interchanging. It's all there, man. All your tools for threading them on, threading them off, your quick detach. This is like a dream, Not only would you'd get this, and then it turns out that you'd only have like 7 or 8 guns that these would work on, and so you would then proceed to go right to the store and be like, I want 45 pistol with a threaded barrel, damn it, because I just got the Osprey with this kit. It is so awesome. So of the suppressors, I mean all of them. If you go to silencerco.com/products. All of those suppressors come in this kit. So the Harvester...
In all the calibers.
In all the calibers, too. So the Harvester, the Saker in 7.62 and 5.56, the Spec War in 5.56 and 7.62, the Osprey for 9mm, 40, and 45, the Octane, which is a durable 9mm and 45 ACP suppressor, the Sparrow, which is a rimfire 22 long rifle suppressor, their Spectre, which is another rimfire suppressor, the Warlock, which is another 22 suppressor. Man, if you really hate threading and unthreading suppressors, this is going to be a lifesaver to you, because you'll never have to take one off and put it on another gun.
Yeah, it's I think now that we have been able to pick our tongues up off the floor and wipe the saliva from our mouths from all the drooling, I just kind of want to look at again. All right, so the price is 20 grand, right? And they're saying it's over $25,000 value. Is that $25,000 number including what it would cost you for the tax stamp, or is that just pure product?
So if we take 14, and because there's 14 suppressors, we times that by 200, then we get $2,800 for the in tax fees. So they're saying that there's a $5,000 value. That means that there must be an extra help me out.
So you're getting a break on the silencers as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh. I'm the kind of guy that likes when there's a lot of something, and there's a lot of silencer in that box.
There is. I mean,
I just want all of them.
This is like you'll never have to buy some earplugs again. Like you'll throw your earmuffs away. Don't even need them anymore. So if you go to silencerco.com/conquest kit. And I think there's a link right off of their homepage. I think that's how I got to it. Basically, there's a form that you fill out, and it's basically so one of their representatives can get a hold of you and tell you more about the kit and whatnot. So this isn't something that you just go on their website and hit buy as much as I wish I could.
Well, I think some of the reason for that is the fact that you also have the option of custom serial numbers, which is even cooler. So it's a bit of a process, I guess, to iron out your entire package, because you can customize your serial numbers. How cool is that?
That is pretty awesome.
That alone is just so cool.
I mean, if you name your guns like most of us might, you could actually have that put on the serial number. So, okay, everyone has
have it be part of that serial number, right?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a gun named Vera. If you watch Firefly, it's a fact. So you could actually have that put on the suppressors. That'd be cool. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch Firefly, and that's the only...
I know what you're talking about, but I do not have a firearm named Vera.
Oh, well then, you sir, need to watch the first and only season again until you decide you need to name one of your firearms Vera.
I usually name them some derivative of the manufacturer, or my Glock is called Adam because it's Austrian Death Machine.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's like,
I think
it's
I
like
got
a little homage to the parody metal band, but also because it's from Austria. So, yeah, it's like things like that. But maybe if I'm so inclined or motivated or inspired, something will be called Vero someday.
Nice. So yeah, go to Silencer Co.'s website and check that out. And I apologize if I've fired up some envy and rage in you that you don't have an extra $20K laying on hand, but it's only money, so might be able to go to the bank and work out a loan.
Oh god, it's like people are like, oh, I'm gonna get a car loan. It's like, no, I'm gonna get a mortgage on a box of silencers.
Yep.
Maybe, we gotta start talking to some banks. Maybe that's get in on that.
You and I will start up our own bank strictly for the firearms industry. It needs to happen because there's actually some shops that are feeling pressure from their bank, and they're blaming the president and whatnot for, and these bank companies from forcing them to go out of business because they no longer will cover them. So that's a good way. I know of a couple companies that actually, like, for instance, were in general contracting or construction, and they weren't getting their loans fast enough to be bidding on jobs, so they actually started their own bank. And I mean, they've exploded, and some banks have bought in their bank from them in return. But there's a good opportunity for some entrepreneurial startups there, man. We're onto something. The Firearms Insider Bank, FIB.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. All right, that's enough daydreaming.
Back on target. Back on target.
Back on target. So this next product, actually, I tried to bring on a show before, but I had too many products to shuffle around, and I know Sam was excited about it when he saw it in the show notes. So I'm bringing it back now that there's a little bit more information from the company. So the company is X Products, and what it is the Cannon. And it's a AR-15 upper with a giant tube on it, so you can actually just throw in some 12-ounce cans of soda and put a blank in the chamber and fire that can like 150, 200 feet. So
yeah, it's sweet and the what's the MSRP right off the bat? I'm just curious if you know.
I don't know because they haven't listed it yet. So I've been watching their Facebook page, and they just had a contest, and they announced the winner, I think this morning or today, where they're giving one away to somebody. And I wish that I had, if I had seen this sooner, I would have brought this up on the last show and maybe given you guys an opportunity to go to their Facebook page and maybe win this thing. But all it was leave a comment on the most unique way that you would use this other than shooting soda cans. So it kind of had to make you think. So there's, they throw out examples like, putting your dog's retrieving decoy in there. So when you're teaching your dog how to retrieve or their toy, you're basically lobbing it with that. So there's a bunch of people suggesting, like grappling hooks or nets or your tackle for casting over a bank or whatnot. And the winner, which I won't say his name, but his comment was launching NRA T-shirts into the crowd of a Democratic Party convention.
Oh, that is like, I'm not even gonna touch that.
Oh, so like, simple and so good. Like he had to have won. Like I'm surprised that. I bet he said that, and then 12 other people said it, and they were all kicking themselves because he beat them to the punch. So congratulations to that dude, because that was actually brilliant.
Now, from the pictures, is that a 16-inch barrel, if you want to call that a barrel?
I do not know. There's not a whole lot of details on it.
Right.
So they are on their last Facebook post about it, said that we're just going into production. We're trying to get these going. So there's a whole lot of interest.
Because I can only assume it's considered a barrel, and as soon as you put it onto a lower, it's part of the gun, and it would have to conform to federal and state laws regard to barrel length and things of that nature. I'm assuming.
Is there a caliber restriction on that? Because obviously, it being a wide diameter, maybe does it fit into the any other weapon category?
I don't know. And the other thing is the way it's designed. Is it just from like how is the chambering on that? Is it? I can't imagine the 223 cartridge is expanding all of that space to pop that thing out there. Maybe is it like a mini barrel inside of the tube?
I don't know. I think so, or a funnel, because that blank needs to have enough back pressure to actually cycle.
Exactly.
So I don't even know if it'll really cycle the gun. Of course, they're showing it with pictures with their 50-round drum just so they can get a little cross promotion, because that's X Products is really known for they're all metal drums. They're skeletonized 50-round drum mags. So obviously you're not gonna pop a full 50-round drum of blanks and just start dropping in Coke cans in there one by one. I think there's a little bit more process to it. So the only there's a couple of photos floating around, and guns.com has an article on it, which I linked to in the show notes, where they actually have a video of somebody launching a can out of the cannon, and then a woman shooting that can like a skeet with a shotgun.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks awesome. It's this way you don't have a guy that's sitting there bored pressing a button. He could shoot just the same as you could shoot.
Yeah. The other thing is
Have a
that they
couple
need to
guys with
make
these cannons. Have a couple guys, and you have some crossing targets, and you have a good time.
Well, they need to make some biodegradable cans so that way you're not having like shrapnel of aluminum everywhere in your yard. But
Yeah.
other
I mean,
than
here's the
that,
other thing. I think if this, not that it's going to take off where there's going to be one in every home, but if it becomes a little more viable, I think you'll end up seeing potentially the market for reusable targets. So just the same as you have like self-healing targets for, 22 plinking and things like that.
mm-hmm.
Imagine a self-healing can-shaped thing that you could launch out of this.
Yeah,
You could
I'm
hit
sure.
it.
Like
And you
Bertram
could
Casey could whip something up like that.
Right.
Like
And my thing is,
yeah.
I think price point will be a big thing for this, because if they can get the price point on this, if it could be 50 states legal and they can get the price point down, to where it's borderline an impulsive buy that you can like, I know it's like absurdly cheap, but $250, these things would sell like hotcakes. But if it is restricted and they're asking $900 for it, $1,000 for it, it's going to be like the people that could afford the $20,000 case of suppressors. It's not something that someone could be like, hey, that's kind of cool. Let me catch that, pick that up to play with it at the barbecue, as opposed to I'm going to save up my money to buy this thing and I'll use like once every other year. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if they can really get this thing, not like cheap to the point where it falls apart, but like if they can produce it where it's quote unquote affordable to a lot of people, I think they have a chance at really moving these things.
Yeah. So I did read that they're going to offer them both as complete uppers and complete rifles as themselves. So probably what we're seeing, the A2 fixed buttstock, the A2 grip, pretty plain Jane, and it looks like for the most part, all the pictures I've seen have the A2 carry handle style upper receiver. So I don't, as far as aiming goes, just using that rear aperture, not having anything on the front of the barrel to give you a point of reference for aiming. I really don't think that that's really the point. But if you
I
want
would
to
say
put this
just
on,
they should have just gone with a flat top, because you know what? You're just going to be pointing that big round barrel in the general direction of where you want it to go.
yeah, just put a cheap red dot on there that could get you within 12 inches of what you're trying to hit, or 6 inches. That'd be pretty cool. And then that instead of having not a gooseneck wouldn't work, but a Picatinny adapter that goes into the carry handle, so that way it's like super high off your bore. That's an option too. But I'm definitely going to be following this, so as soon as there's any more details about MSRP and buying options, I'll be sure to bring that up on the show. So stay tuned for that. But they were kind of, I know they've gotten huge like mass public feedback saying, hey, I want one of these. Where can I get it? When's it going to be available? So I think they were asking for people to go on their website or Facebook page and let them know how much interest there is, so they know to invest in the equipment and start producing. But I think they've got it already, because it sounds like it's going to be a sure thing. So I'd be interested in that. I don't see blanks on the shelf very much, so you'd have to special order those. Maybe it's just me.
You see them at gun shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the gun shows I go to, there's guys that just do ammo, and then guys that pretty much just do like boutique ammo, and random things. So you'll see 223 or rather 556 blanks, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they're out there. I certainly don't see it at my local gun store.
Right. I'm just thinking about all of the guys, the rednecks that are gonna fill the empty cans up with cement, or maybe the machinists that are actually gonna mill, a can-shaped projectile out of, aluminum or whatnot. And,
Blow the barrel up.
Yeah, hopefully.
And ruin the fun for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't get my micrometer out and figure out is a 12-ounce can the same diameter as a tennis ball? Like, could you toss a tennis ball in here, or maybe?
I don't know, but that would really be ideal because, like you said, like you don't want metal shrapnel all over the place.
Yeah, but in that case, they've already got tennis ball launchers that thread onto the end of your regular barrel.
Right, golf ball launchers and stuff.
But maybe that's too far away from the chamber. So if you stuck a can of soda in there, you would it'd rupture right then and there. Maybe the secret to this is having the can much closer to the chamber, so that gas actually pushes into it instead of crashing into the bottom of the can.
Right.
Look at me getting all sciencey and crap.
Oh, dropping knowledge.
Dropping knowledge. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. I'll make sure I keep you guys updated, and you can also go to the X Products website too. Also go to their Facebook page, and there'll sure to be an announcement here in the next month where the progress is on that. So on to the sponsor product. I've been covering a lot of steel products from Action Target, and rightly so, because they make some fantastic steel targets. So if you use our affiliate link, firearmsinsider.tv/actiontarget, you can go to their store and use the promo code radio15 to get 15% off your order, which is pretty awesome. So this week, I'm actually covering something that's not steel. It's their 3D target, and what it is a 3D form made out of cardboard. So basically, if you've ever played Minecraft, you're basically making the torso of a very boxy silhouette. But it's got a hole in the top of the head, and obviously the bottom part of it is hollow, an open box. So the premise is you can use this with two of their stands. Their PT runner system, which is actually like a moving target stand, and their 3D target stand with feet. So basically, you're taking a cardboard torso and you're placing it over a rod. And so then on the back of the target, there's actually these flaps that open up, like you're playing Operation. You get to the inside of it, you see the rod and whatnot. And this kit comes with balloons, latex balloons. So you inflate the balloons, tie them up, stick them on the inside of the body, and the friction of the balloon holding the cardboard away from the rod, the rebar rod. You actually place those balloons in the vital parts of that torso. So, I mean, if you wanted to do some shooting that was, okay, headshots only, absolute not decapitation. What's the word I'm looking for? Disabling. Shots that are meant to be instant threat eliminators.
Which is really the in my opinion how you should be training, because if you're training at any sort of humanish form, any sort of human analog, it's because you're training for a defensive situation. And I think this just enables a tremendous amount of training. When you hit it in the head. Like sometimes when you're just punching holes in paper, it's questionable. Is that the hole I just made, or is that the hole I just made, or is that the hole I just made?
Right.
But the active component of this, whereas when the balloon pops, the thing's gonna fall. That's tremendous.
Yeah. So you set up a couple of different of these, and you're running through, and you shoot through the cardboard, you hit the balloon, it pops. There's no more friction holding it up, so it slides down that rod, and so then you have instant feedback. That target's down, move on to the next one. And so you can custom set like headshots, or set them in the chest, or set them in the pelvic region if that's the kind of training you're going for. So the MSRP is $120, and then don't forget to use the 15% promo code AR or Radio 15. So the kit
and that
comes
gets
with,
you one box Or
Yeah,
sorry,
it
I guess
comes
you're
with
gonna explain that now.
yeah, that's what I'm going into. So it includes 15 of the 3D cardboard targets, 75 latex balloons, which just a pack of balloons, get them at the dollar store, really. Some tactical arms, which are like cardboard arms holding a knife, holding a gun, and making a fist or whatnot. And then
It
zip
makes it so
tie.
creepy.
Yeah, it is a little creepy. Zip ties and a roll of string. I'm not sure what those are for. But basically, and they show pictures on their website of a 3D target with they actually put a T-shirt over him, and then they put the arms holding the pistol, and they painted the pistol black. So in this way, you could set up targets in like kind of a CQB style room, and you
Shoot,
could
no
have
shoot sort of
shoots
things.
and no shoots. So the ones not holding a knife or gun are no shoots, and if you shot them, not only you'd see the impact, but if you hit them in a critical spot and they fell to the ground, not only did you shoot a hostage or civilian or whatnot, but you hit them in a critical spot. So you would get 2 slaps in the back of the wrist from your instructor. So it's definitely adds another dimension, literally, to shooting cardboard silhouettes. So, and IDPA licensed cardboard silhouettes are not cheap either. So you get 15 for $120. That's not that bad. I don't know if it comes with the legs. When I add this to my cart, it doesn't give me an option to add the stand. So unfortunately, I do think that the stand is sold separately, but the fact that it can work with either the 3D target stand with feet or the PT runner, it's just that's an extra purchase, and it's too bad that they couldn't work that into the price. But for $120 is probably going to be a good price for these. I wish that they had a video on their website, because this would be an awesome thing to see actually in live moving around. So the system itself with the targets and whatnot was designed by Clint Smith, and that should be a name that you're familiar with. Isn't that the Clint Smith from, was it Thunder Ranch? So he's done a lot of kind of he's helped design some firearms or some extra some I think maybe the Mossberg had like a 500 that was like the Thunder Ranch model, a little kind of extra pizzazz. So yeah, kind of cool. If you are interested in that, go to store.actiontarget.com/3d-target.html, or you can just go to the store and go to specialty targets, and then go to the 3D target. So pretty interesting stuff. Add a little bit of flavor to your training or your range time without spending more than a couple $100s on some steel that maybe you don't have the transportation or the storage ability to have a large steel setup. So definitely something interesting for you to consider. So let's get right into the main topic, panel reviews, and I'm going to go ahead and let Sam take the wheel. It's all you, buddy. Actually, I think Sam is. Actually, I haven't heard from him for a while. I think he might have dropped out of the Hangout. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my review until Sam joins us again. So what I'm reviewing this week is the Crossbreed Ojai holster. And if you're familiar, if you've been watching the show, my last review, or actually 2 reviews ago, I did this Fox Tactical Advanced Tactical Hipster bag. It's got a pretty ridiculous name, but basically it's like a messenger bag that's got a pocket for carrying a pistol. That's got a Velcro lining, and the kind of holster solution that came with the bag itself was really rudimentary and simple, and I kind of think they did that on purpose. But basically, it could be universal, but it was just this 2 straps, so it would just go in vertically inside the bag, and then you can adjust with this Velcro the opening So you can adjust that to the size of your firearm, slide the trigger guard. Didn't really hold your firearm steady, almost no retention, and if your bag got tipped upside down, you're almost positive that your firearm would come out of this little makeshift holster sheath thing. So what I did is I went online and I looked at different holsters that were out there, and for looking for holsters that had a Velcro backing. And so the first one that actually I saw was the crossbreed Ojai, and that's spelled Ohai. I think that's Japanese. I'm not sure what that translates to. I think hello is like Ohio. So it might be a derivative of the word hello, which if you've got this concealed with your pistol and you have to spring it out on an assailant, it's kind of like, oh, hi. That's just how I think about it. So basically, it's a Kydex body that's affixed to some of the leather, and then it's got the hooks on the hook side of Velcro. So there's hook and there's loop. The holster itself has the hooks, and then your bag should have the loops. And actually, this does come with a panel of the hooks or the loop side. So it's a. I got my ruler here to measure it for you guys. So it's just a black sheet of the hook side of, or the loop side, the loop side of Velcro. Man, this is difficult. Velcro is like rocket science. So it measures 6 inches by 7 inches, and you can actually have the option to add to your order additional panels, because this not only works in bags and purses, but you could actually take this Velcro, it's got an adhesive backing, you can stick it underneath a desk, and bam, you've got, an under the desk holster. So if you're working a lot at a desk, and whatever your business attire doesn't accommodate a holster, you can actually have your firearm underneath your desk. You can put it in, anywhere you can affix the Velcro, in your car, underneath the dash, any kind of flat adhering surface, you can put this on. And they also offer magazine pouches with the Velcro backing as well that you can tack onto your order. So, and I got one as well. So this is for the for double stack 940 or 357 SIG style magazine. So it's kind of universal. So I've just got my Smith & Wesson M&PC, and this is a 10 round 40 magazine. It just goes right in there. Retention's really good. I mean, it is brand new. I haven't done a lot of drills and holstering and unholstering. The Kydex itself has a little indent. That's where the retention really is. So that's stiff. As with wear, if it started to get too loose, you could just simply take a blow dryer and heat that up and then kind of press it into the magazine, and then you get a little bit of your retention back. So the only thing is that with these sheets, they already have, pre-cut out and send you, it's not quite wide enough for you to have both a magazine and the holster on the Velcro at once. So that's, there's a little bit of overhang, but it can still be done if that's really what you want to do inside your bag. So here's both the holster and the magazine pouch, or the magazine holster, on one panel. But for the firearm itself, the retention's really good. If you're not familiar with crossbreed, they hand fit everything. So they do have a lead time. They're not just grabbing holsters off the shelf and sending it to you. They hand fit every one of their holsters. But the great service, I had a question, I called them, and I immediately was able to speak to someone. They answered my question in a couple of minutes. There's a sweat guard on the holster itself that kind of gets in the way if your bag's kind of shallow, like the one that I have. So like if I were to cut or trim this sweat guard down, I would gain an extra. I could have the gun like half an inch higher up underneath the zipper. It's just easier to reach in there and grab it. So that's the only thing. And there's a sweat guard on the magazine holster as well. But if this is going inside a bag and not being used as an inside the waistband, I don't understand the need for a sweat guard to begin with. If you've got a slide that's got some abrasive caulking serrations on it, and you don't want that rubbing up against your bag, maybe you've got some aftermarket grips that's super abrasive and it would start to wear on the inside of your bag. I don't know, but the sweat guard to me is not really needed on something that's not an inside the waistband holster. Or just even an outside the waistband holster. There should be no contact with the skin unless you're running a belt with Velcro on the outside of it, and that's your preference. But anyway, as far as the review goes, the target market is definitely concealed carry permit holders that are interested in carrying in a bag, or concealment around the home or office by sticking an extra piece of Velcro anywhere you want. It prevents shifting around on the insides of bags and satchels and purchase because of the extra retention. I mean, I can hold this thing upside down and shake it, and my gun's not going to come out. I mean, it's still new. I did a little unholstering and training at the range with it, but it seems like it's very well sculpted Kydex. So like I said, you can mount it to various surfaces. The imagination is the sky's the limit, really. Under your desk, behind the toilet, anywhere you really want to mount a holster so you can stick your gun. And it includes the one strip of loop Velcro, and you can get additional Velcro with your order. And the crossbreed warranty is really awesome. If the holster should ever fail during normal use, simply return it and they'll repair it or replace it, no questions asked. So that's kind of really nice of them. As far as aesthetic options, there's none really. You can choose what hand you want to be on. So if you're a lefty, you're not restricted. You can tell them I want a left-handed for draw. So if you've got your backpack or your pouch hanging around your left side, you can do that as well. So Sam's joined us again. Hey, welcome.
We'll get to the reasoning later.
Okay.
But I'm back.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you done? Would you
Nope.
like me to?
Just a little bit more. Watch the rustling around there, buddy.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you rustling your jimmies over there.
Okay.
Cool. So what others are
Kicked
saying?
out.
Others are saying a review. This holster works great for my day pack. It form fits my Glock 19 and allows me to carry with one in the chamber without fear of it falling or shifting out in the bag. It even comes with enough Velcro to create a couple mounting spots for the holster. Some places I've thought of are underneath your nightstand, under your car's dash, or in the middle console. Basically, any flat surface that is about 8x8 will be a possible mounting spot for this system. Very versatile, and that was actually a review from Midway USA. I didn't see these holsters on Brownells. They are available from Midway USA. I actually, you know what? I think it was discontinued from Midway, but I did buy this right from Crossbreed's website. They had a good price, $47.50, and then additional cost for the other options, the extra loop or the magazine pouch and such. So out of my rating, I'm going to give it an 8 for being great. The fit and finish is just like any other of holsters. Crossbreed's reputation precedes itself. The extra Velcro panel was really nice. I didn't know that it came with an extra one, so I technically have 2 Velcro panels. I'll make sure to use them. And the retention on both the holsters for the gun and the magazine were exceptional. And my only negative were the sweat guards not understanding why they're there and actually seeing them as impeding for my specific bag, how close I can seat them to the opening of the bag just for easy access going down and grabbing them. So that's my review. If you go to Crossbreed Holsters website, you can purchase one for yourself. please click on the link from the review in the show notes. So, okay, that's my review. And Sam, are you ready to present yours?
Going to be reviewing is the Blade Tech double AR mag pouch or magazine carrier, and basically 2 AR magazine carriers sandwiched on top of each other, and it's pretty cool. I dig it. It's got its ups and downs depending on how you want to, what your setup is. But basically, its claim to fame is Blade Tech. Blade Tech makes quality stuff, whether it's magazine carriers, holsters. The Blade Tech name is synonymous with quality, at least to me in my experiences with it. The target market, I would say that it really, this product would appeal to a 3-gunner or somebody who's doing, an IDPA or any sort of defensive shooting competition, for the fact that it allows you to have a relatively comfortable lightweight carrying solution for 2 magazines, 2 additional magazines, without having to go to thigh rigs or, plate carrier type rigs in order to carry your magazines with you. And you don't have the kind of bandolier around your waist. It kind of lets you go out versus around. I certainly would think that it's not necessarily for someone who's going to be operating operationally, because while the ergonomics and the ability to use them for what they're designed for is certainly there, it would be a little hinky, or not hinky, but cumbersome to have them on all day as during a patrol or things of that nature. It's a good for sort of a competition type rig. Or, like, for me, it's like both a competition type rig and a kind of, I have a belt set up, if you guys can see it, with my magazine carrier with my 2 extra Glock magazines, the 2 AR magazines, and the Serpa level 2 holster for my Glock. So it's kind of like my minimalist, lightweight version of a battle belt. I'm never gonna need to use it as such, but I'm a little bit guilty sometimes of being a gearhead as far as like getting stuff for the sake of having it, and it works for me in that regard. The details as far as the features go, it's Blade Tech. It uses the Blade Tech polymer, their molding process, and the biggest feature is Tech Lock. It's their method of attaching it to a belt or wherever you're attaching it to, and it's the best way to describe it if you're not familiar with it is it's like a 2-stage lock, where if you're looking at it from being closed, you flip down a tab, and once you flip down a tab, you pinch the bracket, and then it opens up. And it allows you to easily get it on and off of whatever you're mounting it to. The only negative I found with it is that the Tech Lock, the way they have it designed is there's little holes up and down the clamshell, and you move these bars which set your width of whatever. So like if you're using a 2-inch belt, you set it to 2 inches, 1 inch, 1 inch, anywhere in between. It allows you also a little bit of adjustability as far as ride height. But that being said, I have an Uncle Mike's instructor's belt, and I believe it's 1 3/4 or 1.5 inches. I think it's 1.5 inches. And the way the Tech Lock, it doesn't really get on there tight. It could be the thinness of the belt. It could be as far as it's just not narrow enough. The tech lock is not narrow enough for that width, but it'll slide along the belt. Once you have the belt on and, it's in the way you're going to carry it, it's not going anywhere, but like the other stuff I have in the belt, it won't move even if you shake it, but this just slides all over the place. It's a little bit, it takes a little bit away from the system, but the ease of use of not having to actually thread it through your entire belt in order every time you want to if you want to swap it out, take it off, it just goes on and off very easily. And that's a big benefit. Other aesthetic options or finishes, I don't know if it's necessarily an aesthetic option, but you can get just the single mag carrier, which may be better for some. I'm a big guy, like I said, and I'm kind of used to having to combat awkwardness, so having this stick out a little bit is fine by me. As far as reviews for this go, I briefly looked at the Amazon reviews, haven't seen anything bad about them, but I'll put that in my written review, kind of summarizing what other people are saying. The price point, I got mine for $50, I believe. It was $49 on Amazon. And Blade Tech stuff, whether it's you're finding it on Brownells or on Amazon or elsewhere on the internet, depending on what you're getting, that's a decent price for it. You're going to pay anywhere from high 40s to low 60s, depending on where you're finding it. As far as availability, it's kind of like most accessory things. It really depends on your local gun store. It depends on your proximity to a big box store like a Cabela's or a Bass Pro Shop. The big box stores, they might have them, a selection of Blade Tech stuff. I don't remember exactly which product lines they do carry, but it's going to be hit or miss locally. That's why, nowadays the internet's fantastic. You can find anything you want whenever you want and have it shipped to your door, and it'll be there the next day if you want to pay for it. But you're not very likely to be able to go down the street to the local gun store and pick one up. My rating, I'm going to give it a 7.5. An 8. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8 because the retention is fantastic. You can adjust that. It works with any AR-15 magazine. I have PMags running in mine. The tech lock system is quick and easy, and although there is that little bit of negative as far as really like latching down, I think you could easily modify the mechanism, adding some material on the inside of the clamshell to kind of, even if it's just a thin layer of felt, something to give it a little bit of grip on your belt to keep it there. If that bothers you that much, it is bothering me, and I'm going to probably rectify in that manner. But I'm a big fan of the product. I'm a big fan of Blade Tech in general. I really like their stuff. So that's it. That's it for me.
Now, I've seen people running Blade Tech gear at shooting matches, like 3-gun. And as someone who's shot 2 3-guns and is still a complete and utter dopey-looking noob when I go out and do it, not afraid to admit it, I can see the advantage of this particular piece of gear, because one of the issues I've had is if I have a vest on and I've got 4 carbine mags in the front and I'm running a drop leg on one side and my pistol mags are on my belt, unless you've trained like consistently and practiced at home, like okay, reload for pistol, and you practice the muscle memory and the movement, it's really nice having a platform that's got all your magazines at one spot. And that's what I'm seeing with this Blade Tech, is having 4 carbine mags in one spot and your pistol mags in one spot. So that way you've just got consistency. Reload, reach down, it's the same muscle memory. You practice it enough that, man, you just know. When I'm out there, I'm like, oh, nope, that mag's empty, and I'm digging through my pouches. I'm doing the pat down. I'm patting all my pockets and just look like a complete goonie. But I can see this definitely being a nice piece of gear to upgrade to.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I'm not too familiar with, round counts as far as three gun stuff goes, but my experience with, shooting competitions is you can get away, especially in New Jersey because everyone's dealing with a 15 round magazine capacity, is you can get away with three 15 round magazines. The courses that are set up locally certainly take that into account where they're not going to set up a round count where you're going to have 8 magazines to cover the round count. Um, so if you only need 2 additional magazines for your carbine, you have them in one spot. So you're not, again, having it all in a belt is better, but not having to reach behind your back because there's only so much real estate around the circumference of your body. Having them stacked, you're literally going to the same exact spot. You're talking about an inch and a half closer to your body, but you're literally reaching the same exact spot both times. So I just thought I love this product. I haven't really got a chance to play with it at the range too much. My range isn't too keen on people practicing reloading and stuff like that. They wouldn't even let me leave the holster on my gun belt. Even though he clearly saw I wasn't using it, and I told him I'm not going to use it, he said, just keep it from accidentally using it. It's like, if I have this gear, like, clearly I have some level of discipline. I'm not going to randomly holster my gun if I know that I can't. A. B, and even if I am holstering it, it's not like I'm going to shoot myself in the foot.
Well,
I don't know. Never say never, and knock on wood that it never happens to me. But it's just, I understand the responsibility of an RSO, but sometimes it's just like, give me a break. Anyway.
One thing to shoot yourself in the foot, but if you shot yourself in the foot with Zombie Max ammo, that's like the ultimate insult. Like, I don't know. I think you should be on like gun timeout for a while if you do that. Anyway, so thanks for that review. That's really cool.
Yep, no problem.
So let's get right into the tech gadget or app. And I'm not sure if I brought this up on the show once before. If you're familiar with online interactive AR-15 building interfaces, like Brownells had the AR-15 builder, where you could actually use Brownells parts and build your AR-15 using either a pre-existing build and then modifying, the receivers, the grips, the attachments, the barrel, the handguard. Or just building one from scratch. I used that quite a bit in my experience, and I found that it had some areas that it was a little bit more difficult. And really, it was just PNGs, which is an image that's got a transparent background. So you didn't really get the immersion of these parts interlocking, and you weren't able to rotate it. They were just basically overlaying images on top of each other. So barrel goes here, whatnot. So Gunstruction is a brand new app that just actually came out in 2013. So it's not super new, but it's fairly new, and it was it's been carefully built to allow the complexity of the AR-15 platform be appreciated. So they used animators, digital painters, and a whole development team to create this software. And you can use it online with your internet browser, or you can download the app on your phone. So I'll be talking about the app in a little bit. But basically, it allows you to actually produce 3D rendered AR-15 builds that you can rotate and look and how all the parts look streamlined. Because when you're building an AR-15, unless you're just building a Frankenstein gun, you kind of want it all to look consistently nice. I mean, you get your bone stock AR, and then you've just got the custom ones where you've purposely selected, I want this handguard with this muzzle brake. Oh, the muzzle brake is more functional than anything, but some of the more aesthetic choices you're choosing because you want a custom rifle that you like the look of it. And so this is actually it's a 3D sandbox that allows you to create your dream AR, fly around it, rotate, zoom in, zoom out, look at all the parts. Not only that, but you can actually purchase right from the app. You hit a buy button, and you can buy those parts that are part of the build. So when the app, there's two versions for the app. There's a light version which is free, and then there's the professional version, which costs $1.99 to download. And the difference between the two is that the free version, you can only use parts from their featured sponsors, which it ain't all that bad because I'm seeing Troy, Stag, LaRue Tactical, Double Star, CMMG, Black Forge, Phase 5 Tactical, Black Rain Ordnance, Rainier Arms, PWS, which is Primary Weapon Systems, and 556 Tactical, and Seekins Precision. So basically, if you want to, play around with the light version for free first, and then if you like it enough and you'd like to build using different parts that are available from different vendors, you pay for the professional version. So here's the app with a little AR-15 kind of rotating, floating. I hit build, and I can choose what caliber, 223, 222 long rifle, 223 Remington, 6.8 Grendel, 6.8 SPC, 300 Blackout, and 9mm. So you'd select one of those calibers, and right now all the other ones besides 556, 223 Remington. I don't know why I'm having such a problem with that today. You have to start from scratch. The 223 Rem, you can actually use a pre-built model. So I'll actually hit pre-built, and then it'll let me load one of these manufacturers. So I'm going to hit good old LaRue Tactical. So it's got their website and their phone number. I hit select, and it should load up some LaRue Tactical AR-15s for me to start building off of. So from
there you can kind of just swap out bits and pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Different handguards, different stocks, and they're updating with all the latest stocks. So with the Brownells, as it being kind of the first one really to aspire to be this, it had limited stocks, limited colors. They didn't have all the newest Magpul stuff. This seems like something that's being more maintained and updated, and it's a lot more. I guess just you can dive deeper into. I want to see what the other side of my stock looks like. One side of their firearm can look different from the other depending on what the components you got on there. So definitely more of a if you're addicted to AR-15s, like if anyone who's built one or owned one probably already is, this would definitely be an app for you to try.
I'm sold. I would love to try the mobile app. I tried the internet app twice, and it crashed my computer twice. That was the cause for my...
Oh, is that what was causing all that?
That's what happened the first time. I was kind of skeptical the first time, but it certainly confirmed it for me the second time, because I was sitting here, we just finished up talking about the action target, and I was kind of getting my link set up for that, because after the reviews we were getting to that, and I was like, hey, I might as well get like a minute or two looking at this thing to get an idea, since I couldn't do it before the show because the computer crashed. And boop, same thing happened again, and I had to restart my computer.
What browser were you trying it with?
Safari.
Oh, thank you for not saying Internet Explorer.
Chrome. I can't even use it. I have a Mac, so I can't use Internet Explorer, but... So that's the thing. It's like my computer's like a champion. Like it deals with a lot of crap, and it just doesn't ever get fazed by it. But for some reason,
it does load a little slow. I mean, on the app, I just tried it when you were talking about your review, and it did seem really sluggish. So there might be so much information rendering those 3D objects that maybe it's not processing it. Like really,
it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was like that. What's the plugin or whatever it was using? What's it called? It starts with an A, I think.
I don't know.
Anyway, when it's loading, that the status bar was cruising along fine, like it was loading the plugin, loading the runtime environment. Then as soon as it was loaded, it came to like the home page, and it said loading, and then all of a sudden it went bloop. just
Well,
conked out.
you listeners, you might be able to give it a try yourself and have different results. I don't think there's limitations on using your browser. I think the paid is just for having all the components unlocked on your phone. So I probably still take full advantage. You can create an account and save some of your builds for later on, which is really useful. I don't know if you'll be able to print them out. That would be pretty awesome if you could like build your gun, you position it, rotate it at like a 3/4 angle, and then print it out and put it like on the wall above your computer or your work desk, so you just have something to aspire to.
Motivation. It's a true motivational poster.
That's right. And then you can put in bold type below it, just a couple more paychecks. Just a couple more paychecks.
Yeah.
So there's no listener feedback this week. I'm looking forward to seeing more listener feedback as far as reviews if you'd like to win the IntelliScope mount. So in closing, make sure you listen to the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network, especially This Week in Guns. If you want to listen to a podcast that covers basically all your gun news for that week, both political and industry-related news, they cover on a week-by-week basis. So if you haven't been on Facebook or covering the news yourself, they kind of cover a broad range of topics for you in one episode, so it's kind of nice. They get interviews and have some guest commentators that are pretty interesting. So make sure you give that a listen if you go to firearmsradio.tv/thisweekinguns. And in wrapping up, send questions or comments to podcast@firearmsinsider.tv or myself, cross@firearmsradio.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review, especially for these giveaways. Check out the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. And be sure to visit the Firearms Insider for reviews and industry coverage as well. So once again, Sam, my brother, thank you for joining me on the show again. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me as always. Thank you for dealing with the technical difficulties that my exploration has brought upon the show. And look forward to the next time.
Yep, absolutely.
And shameless plug, guys, check out Guns of Hollywood, another podcast on the Firearms Radio Network. Going to be doing a new Dirty Harry's coming out this week. Next week, we're going to be doing Gallipoli. So
Nice.
Check us out.
Yeah, I listened to Dr. No a couple days ago. That was an interesting episode. Yeah, I've been saving Private Ryan for this week because that's one of my favorite movies. So I've been kind of trying to save it, and I don't think I can hold out much longer. I'm going to give it a listen to, and I hope within my anticipation is paid back in dividends with the quality.
Yes, well, I mean, it's an earlier episode, so things get better with age. So
yeah, that is
take
true.
all that into account.
And so, are you taking like listener suggestions as to movies to what you do?
Yeah, and it's good. We've gotten more and more emails and listener feedback as time goes on, and we are certainly open to suggestions. We've kind of thrown out any semblance of a schedule, and we just have a pool of movies and kind of see where the wind takes us. We don't plan more than a couple episodes in advance, so we are very open to any suggestions you want. Email gunsofhollywood@gmail.com with any suggestions, or if you are an expert or are a particular uber fan of any particular movie or style of film and you'd like to contribute, three's a party.
Can I make a suggestion right here on air?
You certainly can.
My favorite movie, Marky Mark, Shooter.
Ooh.
Yep.
Interesting.
Robert Lee Swagger. Yeah, that would be a very interesting episode.
Since you have suggested it, and you yourself are fairly familiar with longer range shooting, I think you should then come be a guest.
I'm gonna take the noob card. I'm not familiar with long range shooting. I aspire. I would do a lot of Googling and what's that? The Internet Movie Database with guns.
Oh, IMFDB. That's one of our
Yeah,
greatest resources. We like shout them out every episode
yeah.
because we're not. I mean, we can only know so.
What's that? You cut out. Oh man, you cut out, man. Uh, so anyway, make sure you check out Guns of Hollywood as well. Uh, and that's it for the show. So shoot safe, have a good week, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. See ya.